presented to you by the Florida United Kill Team and North Florida Kill Team.
Here it is. How's the audio now, everybody? Are we getting it? Do we have audio? No? No? Do we have audio? Nobody. Damn, dude. I broke the stream. I kind of was worried about that happening when I switched over to I had this set up perfect on Six-Sided Paradise. Yeah. Audio is on now. Eric is good. You guys talk? Do I have you
Hey,
guys?
Yeah.
hello.
Mic test, mic test, mic test?
Hey, hey, one, two,
Yes.
1, 2. I'm
We are
also here.
all good. Okay, so welcome back again, the PhoBros Podcast. It's just me, they say. They can't hear anyone else. Well, while I figure
Oh
this
no.
out, welcome, we have two guys on house arrest and two streamers this episode. Very exciting. Um, Tomas says we're good now.
All right.
Everybody's all good. Sick. So, my name's Eric. I'm here with my buddy George from Six Sided Paradise.
And I'm also here with Cameron from North Florida Kill Team.
Absolutely. Cameron here in St. Augustine, and we're joined by our friend Rhys from Melbourne, Australia, coming to us from the future.
Thanks so much for having me. Absolutely chuffed to be an unofficial honorary just for today, PhoBros. So thanks so much for having us, guys.
I
Awesome,
think I
man.
did call you an honorary chapter brother in our post on
Ooh,
Instagram. So
There we
I
go.
like it.
kind
I'll
of
take that.
intense.
I dig it.
Kind of intense. Yeah.
So, I think we should jump straight into it because there was big news in the Kill Team sphere this week. Everyone very excited. Some people not so excited. Some people may be upset depending on their team of choice. But we got a big meta shakeup, and some metas out there are already adopting these changes. So, of course, I'm talking about the world's data slate. And I know there's other podcasts and there's other YouTube videos, and people have gone through every single detail of the data slate. I'm sure you guys already are there. So we're more just going to talk about what really sticks out to us and what we think is cool, what we think is not cool, kind of the biggest uh, either boons or busts that are coming out of this data slate, and how we feel about maybe if they're going to, exist into the final uh, rendition of the data slate, or if we think that there's no way that they're gonna, have Hyrotech be actually five bodies on the kill op. So let's start with you, George. I know you probably got something good.
My favorite take from the whole data slate is Death Watch didn't get unsaved. Is like Death Watch got by, they didn't get nerfed to the ground after their release because everyone was like, "Oh, Death Watch is gonna be strong," and they left my Space Marines alone. A little worried about some other teams getting some rules back, ceaseless. But for the most part, I'm so happy that they're not like, oh, now you get to take 4 Death Watch operatives instead of 5 because Death Watch is too strong.
Yep.
Space Marine.
And what do you think, Rhys? What's going on over there in Melbourne? Are you guys talking about it in your local?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I had sort of had a bit of a tournament on the weekend up in Sydney, up at KTSO, and that was great because it was kind of the tournament where there was a few people who were there who were going to be sort of heading to Worlds. So it was like the last hurrah. You know, we all knew the new rules, but no one was allowed to play them, and there was a few people that were a little bit bummed because there were some good ones, also some bad. But it's kind of that thing. I said, I think it feels for me the Balance Star State is in an interesting spot because things like Commando's got some cool stuff. Blooded. There's a few teams that got stuff. I'm like, that's really exciting, but it's this close to that not mattering for some of those teams in the competitive scene anyway. So
Right.
it was like I'm a Blooded player originally. My favorite team still. I was like, oh, there's some pretty good stuff they got. A couple of little nice changes. I'm not going to matter in about 2 weeks or whatever.
Too
it's
little,
like,
too
3
late,
weeks.
right?
Yeah.
I thought about that with the Commandos because I actually gave Commandos a last hurrah. Couple months back at just like a 3-round RTT we had, nothing crazy. And I had a blast with them actually. And then I was like, man, this team's actually really fun, especially when they don't have all the toxic. I deploy 3 guys up the board and automatically win the game against
Toss a
95% of the teams, right?
Toss a bomb and blow up someone. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they don't have that nonsense. They're really fun. They're like they have that quintessential kill team vibe of like all the cool specialists. There's just something about Commandos, that like drew me into kill team early. And then they got some
Yeah.
sweet buffs, but it's kind of like cool, you know.
What does
On
it
the
get me?
big GTs, that's really not gonna affect anything. What do you think, Cam?
I think I agree with everything. I think Death Watch makes sense that they kind of got unscathed. So I think that Death Watch has struggled a little bit here and there already into certain matchups,
Yeah.
especially into Hand of the Archon specifically. I have found that Hand of the Archon just comes right for Death Watch. Either way, though, I think with the teams you guys are talking about, though, that these teams that are about to rotate, maybe it's kind of like let's leave them in a good place to be played into the next year at all the other things that aren't competitive, because I think they have said that in the Warhammer community articles where they're like, these teams will still be able to be played into the next year or whatever. They're just not going to get continuous updates. So maybe this is kind of like the last, like, this is where we want to leave this team. I think in terms of like the slate as a whole, the one thing that stood out to me as I scrolled through it, like a lot of stuff I felt was expected. I was like, but what the fuck about Nemclaw? Like, why did they hit them again with another nerf? This is a team that I haven't even gotten to play yet, but I have been wanting to play. I've had a good hobby project for Nemclaw. Ben and I have talked about Nemclaw endlessly. And then the last slate was really bad for them. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to play him now. And then it happens again. I'm like, well, geez, you might not be using your Vox Scream at all anymore.
GW doesn't like Space Marines.
Yes,
That's a
well,
lie.
yes and no, but
That's a
also,
lie.
yeah, it's like
They
is
love
it
them.
because we're
They don't
getting
like
Murder
them.
Claw
They love
or
them.
Murder Wing? Yeah, they love them. But is it because we're getting Murder Wing? So they're like, we can't have 2 really great Night Lords teams that are up in the meta.
Yeah, I don't know, and I mean it could be something we've kind of talked about in the past on here where we feel like maybe there's a new design space here, and maybe the Nemclaw that we know and we obviously love and their identity doesn't fit into whatever GW's new design space is. Maybe that's what it comes down to because we're seeing a whole new wave, approved ops 2025, really shook everything up. And then now we're seeing a lot of the teams that, you know, we knew they're starting to get changed. For me, the biggest and best change of this data slate, all the doors on Volcus have the same rules. Prove me wrong. Prove me that's not the best one, because that's the best
that
change
one is
I've
good.
ever seen. And it's actually impressive that it took this long, to be quite honest with you, for them to be like, you know what would make sense?
Hear me out. I
Yeah.
know, guys.
Yeah. So that is not even a team change but just a core rule change because we talked about it last episode a lot about like building our communities and doing teaching games. I do a lot of teaching games, and I seriously, oh yeah, I talk about 1 inch tacks through doors, and then we start talking about the minutia of door rules, and well, look, man, we'll deal with that next game. Like, let's just play and have fun. Yeah, yeah, you could charge me on that door. Yeah, 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 it's
I
fine.
was still messing it up.
Yeah, so it's
I mean,
Everyone
like, I
was.
literally
That's the
was still
issue. It's
messing it
like,
up. Yeah.
it's like, wait, if it's this door, it's this, but unless it's this door, and then that means it's going to change, and it's
yeah,
anytime simplicity. Like, it's interesting even to hear you talk about doing teaching games. So much has got streamlined and is good in the new edition, but I'd still say as a beginner, it's still daunting. Like, there's still a lot of granularity in those rules at the early doors, and literally when we're speaking about doors, that's one of the issues.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So I'm extremely excited about that, and then because yeah, it's something as a TO and as someone who just teaches people, and I'm just a rules nerd, like I end up answering a lot of questions about the doors, and it just feels so unnecessary, and especially to new players, I'm like, dude, I swear, bear with me, this game's cool. I swear this game is really, really cool, dude. Like, believe me, but the doors have these rules, and it's kind of weird, but so that was my pain. And but I think it's cool that we saw like Kasserkin get some cool buffs. Is that going to bring Kasserkin, to a significant place in the meta? I'm not sure about that, but I don't think they're hot garbage anymore, right? I think they have some cool
I
stuff.
think I saw someone
They're not.
say that.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, George.
No, I just said they're not dog water anymore, but they probably need something else. Like Kazakh needed help. There was a few teams that needed help. But Kazakh, at least they got something,
Yeah,
thankfully.
and it didn't buff Inquisition. Pretty cool. Pretty
The
cool.
unseen knock-on effect is the classic of any of those teams tied into the Inquisition. It's like, this team got better, so did Inquisition. So yes, it's well done. I'm not avoiding that.
Yeah,
It's so
and
nasty too. Yeah.
so
that team.
we've been talking about things we like. Is there anything we really don't like? Like Rhys, is there something you're not a huge fan of?
Um, it's one of those things sometimes as well. Until it hits the tables, obviously reading the rules versus enacting the rules is going to be interesting. The one I'm still very curious to see how it plays out now is Canoptic, as someone who played them this past weekend, knowing that they are in that mix of a lot of top table, higher table players teams at the moment. I want to see if those changes were enough or even possibly the right changes to what they do. I still think as a team they are hard to master, like, and not necessarily the easiest to pick up. A lot of people will go, oh, they're a good team. You've still got to know what they do and how to get that magic dance working with all those pieces. But they still can be hugely, hugely oppressive when you get that things. The ability like the Tremor Quake profile, the Seek Light with the Geomancer, like that unit is still so powerful. And I still think the Warriors are probably a bit too good for what is meant to be throwaway units. I still think they need a
Yeah,
little
The
bit of a look
piercing
at.
one.
Piercing one
Yeah.
bolters
One.
with Ceaseless is kind of
Yeah.
They
crazy
just
for a
keep coming
guy
back.
that it's like the ultimate tar pit team right now
Yeah.
because they have,
Yeah.
well, if you don't kill me, I'll heal. Yeah, okay, you nerfed my heal, don't care. I'm gonna do, like, it's still good. Before it was
Yeah,
just
still good.
ridiculous. Like at one point
Mhm.
it's insane. You're like, okay, we can't just compare it to something that is literally absurd. Now it's still just amazing. And you have
Yeah.
models that you're like, I'm gonna spend a good portion of the APL to do actionable things is going to be into a warrior. And the Canoptic player is just like, you know, don't care. Cool, bro. All right. So, anyways,
You kill them, they blow up, and they come back. You don't kill them,
That's the
your
other
model's
thing.
tied up and doesn't come back.
the blowing up,
You know?
the blowing up,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
Cam?
the
Is that what
mortal
you're
wound
thinking?
blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that one drives me nuts because it's like when I was playing, I played a match, my Felgor into Canoptic, and that's a good match for Felgor, but
Hmm.
the little bugs, they come up, they shoot, and then they're like right there in your face. You have to kill them. They've already damaged you a bunch with the piercing one, and it's like, oh, here's a mortal wound as well. And then it's like, oh, but we're just gonna respawn 7 inches back from where we just were anyway, and we're gonna come right back up the next turn.
Oh, and by the way, I get accurate. So if you want to kill me in melee, not only are you going to get blown up, you're going to, unless you can one tap me, which only a couple models in the entire game can do that, you're going to eat what are they, 3/4 or something? Like they have bolter fists, something like that. I
Yeah.
don't even know.
Yeah.
Right? So like you're gonna eat potentially 6 damage for killing a guy that means nothing. So that I agree. That's the part that feels a little nutty. Now, I don't
Yeah,
even
I
think
thought they might have just got a little bit of a tap, because even their durability and stuff like that just seems, for the type of unit they're meant to be, like this
Yeah.
disposable frontline chaff. They're better than a lot of other teams, regular warriors who don't
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah, a guardsman with a las gun.
Yeah.
Just like, come on, dude. I group activate, don't care. It means nothing. Chris in the chat brought up something that I wasn't thinking of. Smoke grenades. They got a big change. This is a universal change, affects everybody. I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest with you. But maybe I haven't read the rule exactly because like I'm not even sure. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Do you guys know that rule off the top of your head? Like
So,
what changed?
so I've got it on screen, so I'm not some savant who knows these things. I can
He's a
see.
savant. He's a savant.
Yeah.
She is.
Smoke grenades no
He's in the
longer
future.
ignore piercing wholesale. Instead, smoke grenades now reduce piercing 2 and piercing crits to piercing 1, piercing 1 to, and piercing 1 crits respectively. So note that anything with P1 is now unaffected by smoke.
So piercing 1 goes through?
Yeah.
No,
so
piercing
saying
1
that
goes
it's
away.
unaffected.
Oh, it's unaffected. Oh, so it just piercing
Unaffected.
2 just goes.
Yeah, just piercing 2 gets reduced.
Huh.
Ah, that is
That's
that's a
actually pretty
big
good.
change. That's a
That's
big
pretty crazy.
change. Yeah, like
I think thematically, doesn't it make sense though? Like, why would the smoke reduce the armor piercing round?
yeah, I think there's also the side where you're like, what is a
Don't bring
armor?
logic into this.
Well,
Cam.
like, what is an armor save against a bolter
I don't know.
anyways, right? You're like, yeah, I rolled a 5-up with my guardsman, so I totally tanked that bolter round that's an explosive 50
missile.
cal. No, it's more like you dodged it or something, right? So like you're not like eating that thematically. So the smoke is making them harder to hit you, which means you get more defense dice, so you have a higher chance of dodging, right? Because you're not actually like if you're not in ceramide armor, you're just getting turned into pink mist by a space marine, right? Like, so at least that's how I see it thematically. But it's definitely a gameplay change. It's going to be big for shooty teams, you know. And I've been playing Aquilons, and super fun team. If you guys haven't tried that, I think Rhys, have you been playing Aquilons?
I was I was originally hoping to take them on the weekend, but I didn't get the reps in. I only probably sort of got 1 or 2 games, and I was not confident that I had any source with them. So I was like, I took Deathwatch in the end because that was a team I'd played a couple of weeks ago at a tournament down here. And I said I have a bad habit of flip-flopping with teams and then going, why aren't I winning? Turns out keeping consistent with the team didn't help either, but work in progress.
Yeah, we're honing it in. We're honing it in. They're super fun. They have no obscuring tech whatsoever though. So that this is actually a big change for them. If the piercing 1 stuff is gonna go through like on the plasma, yeah, you still lose a die, but sometimes you gotta take those Hail Mary shots, especially into Nemclaw. Like maybe we won't see much Nemclaw anymore, but that'll be that'll be interesting to see. And you should dive into Aquilons, Rhys, because they are a really cool team. They're
Literally
super
dying.
fun.
They are up next. I after playing Deathwatch with a super elite team, I miss having operatives. I miss, like, as fun as that is being these menacing powerhouses, I like being able to play the long game, you know, and set it up and not have to reveal all my cards in the first 5 activations.
Yeah, literally.
Aquilons might be the way.
You're just preying on counteracts. You're like, okay, I hope this works. I've been messing
They're
around with
crushing it.
Deathwatch too. Aquilons have been crushing. I think they play the crit op extremely well. They
And
play
they flank.
their tac ops extremely well. I mean, you can
That's
play
very good, yeah.
a lot of things with them, to be honest with you. I mean, flank and retrieval, you know, are really good. Because that's the thing. They're like an elf team in human form, right? So if you're, I think some matchups, if you're running around and trying to flank, you're going to score some points on flank, and then you're going to be like, where are my models? Turn 4. They've all just been slowly eaten up as I fed whatever menace of a team you're going into. But they hit hard, and they play the mission really well, and they have a cool mechanic. So I think I'm going back to them. I thought about picking up goats, but I've just been
So
having too much fun with Aquilons. Oh,
you
come
can
on. I,
actually
I cycle
you
in and
can
out of
watch
goats all the time, bro.
everyone can watch your Aquilon's game on
Yeah, go to
the
Six-Sided Paradise. You want to see me get tilted over some dice, dude. There's a
What a
there's a
sales
battle
pitch. I'm
report.
on board. I'm
yeah,
keen.
go check it out, dude.
There's
Go
a
check
battle
it out.
report.
Yeah, it's a
Final
battle
round, yeah.
report on Six-Sided
Final
Paradise,
round
top
looks pretty
table
good.
at the Miami tournament. Felgor against Aquilons. I'm the Aquilon player. I get
Speaking of,
outshot. My Aquilons get outshot by goats.
mm.
They outshot
I know
me,
what I'm
dude.
doing after the tournament, my lads. I
Yeah,
know what I'm doing after the show.
it was insane. And
And in case Eric didn't know, Aquilons aren't really good at fighting.
yeah, and apparently goats are good at shooting too. So just depends if you got Landon rolling those dice to that dice tower, dude. Dice
Run
towers,
away.
man. Yeah, run
Run
away,
away.
bro. Crits are coming in, dude. Yeah. Well, sweet. So you guys got anything else to add about the data slate?
The
I
only
think
thing
that was
else I would
good.
say is that I think a larger point being when we were talking about Canoptek didn't get touched enough. Kind of same thing I've noticed though with all these new teams where they touch them once, then it's like okay, and then the next slate they like really touch them. Like Sanctifiers, perfect example.
Mm.
They got a little one. Everyone was like, "That's not enough." Like, fuck
It's
that
probably just
team.
because they want more data on the teams from tournaments. People
Yeah, I
play
think
them when they come out, but it's just a data thing probably.
it takes
Because
time. I think to
if
build it up.
they were to drop the team and like immediately nerf it to the ground, which they have done, it just totally turns the team off. Everyone doesn't want to take it into tournaments anymore. Then they get no more data. So they gotta kind of they can't put their foot on the brake yet. They kind of just gotta let it play itself out. It's what happened when Sanctifiers came out. It's what happened when Felgor dropped. When the cultist, a big ugly cultist dropped, way back in the ugly meta of killing things and demonic meta in the summer. So it's just a data thing. Well, they're gonna get either nerfed or buffed next data slate.
There
There
can
always
only be
seems to
one
be a bit of a
amazing
two
Warcraft.
two box set swing as well, like where people go back in time for a little bit. Like, I'm not sure if it's the same for you guys, but at the moment, I'm seeing a lot of Raveners, a lot of Battle Clade coming
Oh
back
yeah,
out to play.
a lot of
Yes.
So it's
Ravener
kind of that,
players. Yeah,
yeah. So it's that thing. It's like they come out, they're the hotness. As you said, the two balanced data slates, they get the big whack. People forget about them for a box, and then all of a sudden they might get a little buff back up again, and people go back and all of a sudden you go,
Mm.
geez, that was 3-4 boxes ago, but they're good again, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they reach a point in the development cycle like Warp Coven and all is dust. They get turned into dust. They lose they lose a fifth of their team and they're like, "All right, get out of here. White Dwarf is just magazines now. You get over it, bro.
yeah.
We're
That has
done."
been a team they haven't known what to do. I think ever. They've just gone, when they made that team, they're like, what have we created here? We don't know.
They were really nice when third edition now came around, but a little
Yeah.
strong. But I mean, at least people dusted them off and brought them back. I mean,
They were
you just put 'em
crazy,
back in the
bro.
cabinet.
They were a menace when third edition dropped.
Yeah.
Vaughn wants us to make sure everybody knows. Vaughn in the chat, one of our Florida boys, going to Worlds. Awesome. Gonna be taking Blooded because Blooded is
Legend.
on it now. And so if you guys haven't checked out the Blooded changes, Vaughn has been playing a lot of TTS games and getting ready for the WCW event. And he says they have sauce. So make sure you guys dust off your Blooded before they get declassified. And that kind of rolls
Yeah,
into
for
our
3
next,
weeks.
that rolls into our next topic. We kind of wanted to talk about how we felt about declassification. And I think, I think the big question is to you guys, is the declassification going to affect what teams that you play? What do you think, George?
Yeah, I think so. Tabletop Impulse, he's another big Kill Team YouTube channel. He was talking about this way back in second edition when we were getting into ITD and we were getting 2 teams per box. He mentioned on how eventually we were going to have over 40 teams and you'd have to remember 40 sets of rules and all the data slate changes, and it was just going to be too much. So he was wondering. He had mentioned if they were going to start phasing out teams. Lo and behold, third edition comes. We get this whole classified system, and I think it's okay. So I think it's good competitively. Every competitive scene needs to have some sort of control, because you can't have 100 kill teams that you have to remember rules for. I'm a dad. I have a job. I have tons of things going on, and I don't
Skill
have
issue.
the time to learn
Skill issue.
all these teams, all these team rules. So if you got to keep it in like a reasonable number, I think what they're trying to do, where they're trying to limit you from like 36 to 42 teams, isn't horrible. You still have a lot of options, but what sucks is a lot of people like myself have. When PhoBros came out, I have like 20 operatives because I have all the leaders and I WYSIWYG. So all the leaders are built, and I have like 5 incursors and all infiltrators. And now what am I going to do with my 20-man PhoBros team? Because I don't play 40K.
I got 2 PhoBos teams, bro. I got like 30 models of PhoBos, bro.
What do you think, Cam, about this classified, unclassified?
I think I'm with you. I think too it becomes a point of like trying to keep it all balanced would be kind of crazy if they just let it be this never-ending chain of teams. And I think you also look back to something that I mentioned in last week's episode, which is the newer teams are all thematic special effects, crazy overpower, and maybe not overpower, but just like there's just a different style to the design of the new teams when you compare back to some of the teams that are about to get phased out. They're a lot more, some of them have some really cool things, but they're a lot more basic in what they do. I don't know how long that we can have that big lapse where this is diverging. And who knows, maybe they'll go back to a point where we get some more basic teams, but everything we've seen so far looks like the teams are going to keep getting a little bit more special effects. I know that the Murder Claw team can literally pick up a model and drop it somewhere else, according to the article they released. So pretty cool stuff there. So I think it's nice. Yeah, I'm gonna miss PhoBos. Obviously, that's the team that I got into initially here. But I didn't play any of those other teams. So what was the little tiny violin?
Rhys,
what's your take, Rhys?
What do you got?
Well, it's emotion versus reality, isn't it? That's what this call is, because I'm the same. I've got pretty much pretty much every team that's going declassified. I've got them, sometimes, as you guys said, multiple versions of them, and I don't have a 40k army for everyone. So it's a shame, because you put the time into paint them, build them, play them, you get emotionally attached, you find the teams you love, the ones you love to hate, all that stuff. So the emotional aspect, it does really suck. And I know, especially when it was at first announced, the backlash was pretty massive. A lot of people were like, I'm not playing anymore. Well, if you're taking my team away, because I love that, you play, there's certain people that it's like, oh, that's so-and-so. They play that team. That's a bit of their identity in the scene, So I can understand the shame of losing it. But in terms of keeping the game healthy and competitive and fun, I think you guys touched on it a couple of times, like the design of the game, especially playing again on the weekend, it was really obvious how far the game's come, and it keeps getting better and better. And unfortunately for some of those early teams, their team wasn't written knowing where the game was headed. So it's hard to catch them back up and make them either competitive or fun to play. Like every new team that comes out now, we're like, whoa, they can do what? They get what rule? Looking at the Wolves with the Storm, and like the Raveners and Tunnels, the Hierotech and the Canoptic and the Node. Like there's some really cool stuff, and you go, or you could play some Guardsmen.
Yeah.
What do they do? There's a lot of them,
They all do one thing.
They have a plasma gun.
Yeah. They get a lot of those. They get a lot of those. They get a lot of guns.
A lot of
there are a lot of teams that are set up like that. Yeah. They have the plasma. They have the comms guy. They have a Melta.
It was a phase. It was a phase.
Yeah.
That's what we were getting that stuff. So I know when
better because they're moving on. Like it is
100%.
Positive, but I understand the emotional sadness.
Yeah, because I know when Declassified was announced, I was like, whatever. I'm gonna play whatever I want, don't really care. And then now, as it's gotten closer and closer, I'm at a point where it's like, okay, I'm probably just gonna play classified teams because all this new stuff is so sick, and I got to play the other teams, and the rules will exist. If I ever want to break out blooded over the kitchen table, hang out
Yeah.
and play them, I might do that. But I switch teams around a lot in general. I just want to. It's a new game with a new team. That's what's cool. I make a lot of analogies with chess in this game, but chess, you're either black or you're white. We got the same pieces. It doesn't like, yeah, it changes up a little bit if you're on one side of the table or the other, but when you put a new kill team on the table, you're like, is this the same game? Like, what's going on? So that's fun, but I think that it is good for us to have these changes, and I'm looking forward to just seeing the new stuff that comes out and the game change. So I think it's going to be good for everybody. And I think it's important to remember if you do have that big emotional reaction like Rhys was talking about this, it's Kill Team can be whatever you want it to be. And if you don't go to big tournaments, then this kind of doesn't affect you in a way. Like it's gonna feel like it does. It's gonna feel like something's taken away from you, but the reality is kind of like what Reese, there's that emotional where you're like, oh, you attacked my team. You're and I think that's a good point that you brought up, Reese, because sometimes, like we meet so many people in this game, and that's what's so cool. And sometimes you're like, who's that guy that at the store he plays salvagers. Oh yeah, Josh, You're like, that's him, right? Like him from his team, and
Shout out.
yeah, like that's a cool thing. And then you're like, oh well, his team's going away. He's gonna have to do something else. So maybe it feels like your identity is a little bit being encroached on. But bottom line, like I think time will tell. I think in the next 6 months,
Mm.
12 months, if they do support the teams like they say they will. Because they just did this buff we were talking about where they're like, oh, hey, we'll buff these guys right as they go out. But Warp Coven, like, you think Warp Coven are getting touched again after this? Like, they bodied Warp Coven. You think that they're going to get, oh, my bad, you can have the sixth operative back. I don't know, dude. I don't think that's going to happen. So there
They
is,
took him out the back and shot him.
they
Unfortunately,
did,
there's no going back.
execution style. But I think overall it's going to be good. And the, you know, the new models coming from GW, the resolution's crazy on these new models.
Oh
The
yeah, the new
whoever
models. Are dope.
they're so sick, and whoever like they had working for AOS models, they've clearly like been like, okay, who's that guy? Because he needs to work on the 40K side because we're getting sick shit now. Because I was like, I actually bought a bunch of AOS stuff because I'm like, dude, these models are sick. I justified it. I'm like, well, I DM for like D&D campaigns, like I can use these in a D&D session. That was like my justification. I'm like, because the models are so
Tax
cool.
write-off now.
Yeah,
Tax
yeah, yeah, basically, right? And then, but now I feel like we're seeing that cool factor coming into Kill Team and 40K itself. And so, uh, yeah, if you like hobby and you like the game, it's overall it's going to be a net positive for everybody. Sweet. So, you guys got anything else to add on that? I think we're good.
Yep.
Cool.
I think I made a piece there.
Major piece. Yeah. So I think it's time for our weekly Auspex Scan. And Cam,
Here we go.
take it away, bro.
This week we got Hothead Collective, and they are releasing. This is more of a quarterly than I want to say. It's a monthly. It's called Glaive. So this isn't everything you want it to be. Tabletop miniatures wargaming magazine, which seems like a dead art. To me, it's not. I buy a lot of vinyls. I buy a lot of very much print goods still, and getting something like this every quarter is very sick to me. They go through all of the current game systems that people are playing, stuff that you've never heard of, and mostly skirmish games. So I've seen a couple great skirmish games in here. They give you demo rules. They do talk about Kill Team. They talk about 40K, talk about AOS, and it's all bundled together with four super cool guys. They have a podcast as well that they're doing that they kind
Can we
of
see
mix
the
it all
cover?
together. Yeah,
Show the cover.
there she is. On the cover, it's just them kind of playing with Legos, which is really cool to me. So, they're very much like they're all like '90s kid vibes. And their podcast, I've listened to it a few times. It's with Hothead Collective. It's very much like it's kind of like counterculture in the wargaming community. I would say they're like kind of like wargaming punks is kind of like their thing. I think it's very cool. They're very much like anti-corporate wargaming. But yeah, I'd give it a check out, guys. Glaive, and that's coming to you from Hothead Collective.
Very nice. Is that like and you pay a subscription for that? You get it once a quarter?
There's no subscription. They're not even up to that point yet.
You just
gotta
sign
buy
up.
it when they drop
Oh,
it.
oh,
No, you just
okay.
gotta
Got
buy
it.
the issue when they drop it on the website, and they're gonna sell out super fast.
Okay.
Sweet.
But it's cool. Yeah.
How much is it?
I think each issue, I think this was $14.99 plus shipping,
That's
$7.
that's not bad. That's not bad at
Not
all.
bad, dude.
They ship
It's
to
like a
Australia,
gold-
bro?
Yeah, so it's $14.99, but then when you ship it to Australia, it takes 6 years. And
41.
It's an extra $900.
Yeah, that
The
checks
numbers
out.
switch. $41.99. Right?
41.99.
Yeah,
Yeah,
$41.99.
exactly. Yeah.
I think the last point here that has to be said is underneath of the title of the mag, it says gaming, tabletop hobbies, and nerd shit.
Nerd shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
Dope.
pretty cool, dude. That's pretty
It's a good
cool.
tag.
Got that
It's a good
the
tagline.
retro White Dwarf kind of vibe and feel, like that
It
nostalgia
does,
of like.
yeah.
You remember when you used to open the old one, you'd see the photos of the dudes, and they were just passionate war nerds. You know what I mean? Like it's all very clean and schmick now, as opposed to being like as that
Nerd shit.
the anti-corporate, all that
Nerd
the
shit.
underground on the way up nerd shit. We love it.
I
That's
love
so
that.
good.
That is
So cool.
that is really cool. Well, thanks for sharing that, dude. That was pretty neat. I'm actually gonna
sure.
probably look into that myself because nerd shit is right up my alley, for sure. Chris says when it gets to Australia, it's upside down.
That's just how we read now. We've stopped trying to tell you guys to send it the other way, so we just read upside down.
Yeah, too easy. Yeah, we're used to it. Cool. So we got a new segment this week, and we're just gonna share something really cool that we either did ourselves or had happened to us in a Kill Team game in the last week or two. So this is our play of the week.
Play of the week.
So, what do you guys got? Rhys, you went to a tournament recently, you said.
Yes. Yeah. I had.
Give us a
as-
good one.
Yeah,
Juicy good one.
seven games across 2 days, so lots of kill team. There was lots of highs and lows, but the one that really stuck out was a matchup, Deathwatch versus PhoBros. KG turn 1 on ITD. We'd all moved up, set up for a big turn 2, rolled for initiative and lost it, and I was like, there's a move I wanted to do. He'd positioned really well, and he was gonna do some damage. He was gonna get the opportunity. Rolled. He had I think he'd rolled a 5, and then I looked at it and I had the re-roll card there, and I was like, you know what? You fail every dice roll you don't take. So I did the re-roll and got the 6 and stole the initiative.
Yes.
And it felt so good because my dice also have cheese on it. There as well, George, like your T-shirt, the cheese chase is there. So seeing the cheese come up big was fantastic, and it led then to basically my Deathwatch Sergeant got to charge through, got a kill on my Reaver, and then plasma pistoled and blew up a second one. So it was like a huge double kill against PhoBros.
Ooh, double marine
Dude.
kill is one of the coolest
Yes.
plays you can get, dude. That's awesome.
To have lined it up, the fact that I had no right getting that initiative. Like,
Initiative
it
Casino,
was-
baby. It's the best
Yeah,
casino
and
in
it was.
town every
Cheers.
time.
Yeah.
George,
that
you
was
That's
the
crippling, too.
hotness.
that is super sick.
Yes, it was.
That's one thing the Power Fantasy Deathwatch gives you that, for sure. You definitely get the Power Fantasy out of Deathwatch. Like, George, have you been playing any Kill Team games lately? I know, because you've been a busy guy.
Yeah, I've had a lot of dad duties lately, but I got a game in last week with my good buddy John, Raveners versus Death Watch. Of course, I played Death Watch. Um, and no, it was a very boring game because John hid in his little hole the whole time and would just come on out of his hole whenever I get near it and then go back in it. I'm just like, ah. But the cool thing was Deathwatch could take hits. He charged my dude with the hammer, came out of his hole, charged him, so I didn't get the charging buff. I was hitting on fours. I wasn't on his side of the field. And I ate all the damage he threw at me and took him down to 4 on the first fight. And then on my turn, I just kind of dropped back and I was like, "Hey, have this pistol to the face," and took out a bug. And he was like, "What the?" I was like, "Yeah, man. I guess Deathwatch could fight."
They got it, dude. I
Yeah.
actually have two big plays that I had happen in the last couple weeks. One was actually, since we're on the topic of Deathwatch, what made me think of it. I played Deathwatch against Canoptic Circle, and I had, and granted, part of this was because my opponent, who is very gracious, really good guy, just totally forgot that Reavers drop for free. So
Mhm.
I counteract charged my Reaver off of the top Volcus 2 inches into the revive bug and killed him on counteract. He will never let that he will never let me do
Yeah.
that again. But like it's not you're like, "Oh, I can't, it's a 2 inch charge." Actually I kind of just moved like 4 inch equivalent or more, you know? So that was a really cool thing to have come up. That that I was obviously, that you kill the revive bug early, that kind of wins you the game into
Mhm.
those type of teams.
It definitely hurts. It hurts the team. Yeah.
Yeah, because then I shoot you with a lethal 5 rending balanced 5 dice plasma gun and bye bye. You're gone, dude. You're out of here. And so that happened too. My plasma gunner killed 2 tomb crawlers, the geomancer, and
Ooh.
a warrior. He was, yeah, just, yeah,
Slaughtering,
it
slaughtering that bug.
was obscene, dude. It was obscene. So they got, if you could stay on the board, the Death Watch have some crazy power. But it was all kind of from me, a little bit of a gotcha with the Reaver drop for free. But keep that in mind, you can get some extra sauce out of that. Uh, and then we actually had our league finale. Cameron shaking his head. Cam and I were at top table of our league. Um, I've been playing Kroot because,
Which makes the story just worse.
I've been
So
trying to
I've been
play off meta a little
just
bit,
like,
like just fucking around. Uh, uh, Cam with his Hand of the Archon, pre-Worlds buffed. So
Rebuff.
balance,
Okay.
not
Oh,
ceaseless, which
they're still good.
yeah,
They're
but it
still
came
good.
into play here because if he had
Mm.
he got diced pretty hard. If he got ceaseless, maybe it would have changed a little bit. Although actually no, it wouldn't have changed anything because he charged my cut skin with the flare, dropped 1 die with rerolls, basically rerolled a 1 into a 1, took a mortal wound. I rolled 3 crits, 2 hits, parried him out, killed him on his own activation, and that's reducing my
Ooh.
damage by 1. Killed him on his own activation. Then I had my stalker lined up within 6 inches, charged and double strike kill the duelist. So, my his first activation, I kill the Flayer. My first activation, I kill the duelist. I'm 12 models to 7, and it was all downhill from there, dude. But it was
that
like
was terrible. Oh my god, it was so gross after that
the
too.
fight first,
I
because
hated it.
that's the thing. The fight first on Kroot, you kind of gotta respect it. They got it.
Yeah.
They got it. So
Oh yeah.
you can kind of tilt the paradigm. I think they're not very good at being torpedoes all the time. I got lucky. I got lucky with the stalker kill, taking no damage against a guy who can double
Mm.
parry me. I just rolled two.
And people forget about them. They don't know the rules a lot of the time too. Like Kroot, like
Hmm.
I played them at the tournament. This and they've got some stuff. Especially if you don't know the tricks, you're not up with them. They got some tricks.
Yep, and I think they
You gotta respect it.
play the new TAC Ops really well. Retrieval, and Steel Intelligence. They're you like I used to use the dogs to just like smash you and bring you down to a manageable breakpoint. Now my dogs are just doing dog things, and they're just picking up tokens. They're just like they're going, hey dude, go play fetch. I'm running 11 inches a turn, playing fetch, picking shit up. I'm using bound. My dogs are like literally flying across the entire board basically,
Yeah.
and just scooping stuff up and just maxing out my tac op or getting me 5 points on it or something, like uh, stronger
Which is
than they
probably how the
look.
team is supposed to be intended to play. Dogs do dog stuff, and
Yeah,
that's
Mhm.
yeah.
because you used to
wings
use
kinda
them
like-
more like a blocking piece, right? Where you'd be like,
Yeah,
oh, okay,
correct.
I'll stop you from killing this guy because I can charge you or force you to fight me or whatever, right? But now it's kind of like, oh, I can just score mad points with these things, and then, you
Yeah.
know,
I'm
it's
I'm very embarrassed to say this, but the biggest play of the tournament was used against me by the crew, and it was the dog stealing my banner.
oh,
No.
that's sick. That's so
No.
That's
cool.
awesome.
And
He
got
poached
away?
it? Did he poach your banner?
Yeah, poached my banner.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
because-
sick. That's so
because
cool.
I sort of like, we joked about it early, so we knew it was on the cards, and I was like, oh yeah, no, it's fine, he can't. But of course, forgot about the extra 2 inches for bounds. As you said, flew across, yoinked it, and then was just like, out
See
of
ya.
it, see you later.
That is actually an epic
fast as
visual
fuck,
too.
man.
Yeah, that's actually really, really cool.
Just got the banner like sideways in his mouth.
Yeah,
in the mouth, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
back with it.
So thematic, so good. So good.
So that was
is-
play of the thing. I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
If you hadn't have mentioned Crit, I probably wouldn't have ever brought it up because it was against me, which hurt so bad.
That's
can
still
be
a
for
play
or
of the
against
week.
you.
That's still a
Yeah,
play. Like
that's
that
still a
is
play.
that is maybe the coolest play. Unfortunately, because it was against you, that might be the coolest play that we just talked about. Awesome. So I think it's about time to get into our final stage of the podcast. It is time to determine, what's heresy and what's not.
That's heresy, brother.
So, how about we're gonna have our good friend here, Rhys, guest of the pod, is gonna participate in that heresy with Cam. And the topic this week, we're gonna basically talk about is the new initiative in Approved Ops 2025 good or bad, right? And as our guest, Rhys is gonna get the privilege to declare what is heresy. And Cam, his life counts on it to argue against whatever position Rhys puts himself in. Take it away, boys.
All right. Well, I'll declare. I think the new initiative system is a hot mess, and I think it's a waste of time in an already complicated
Damn it.
game. It adds a mini game we don't need. There's enough mini games within the game. We can barely get the door rules right. Why do we now also need to have +1s, +2s, +3s? Why can't we let dice be dice?
Okay, so based on that, so the only thing I'm liking about the new initiative system at this moment, and that could be heresy what he just said in terms of adding the mini game, but maybe the mini game's fun. There are games I think where if you're rolling initiative every time and losing flat out, you don't have a team with the natural reroll system. I think that is where it gets a bit messy. So if you have PhoBros and Aquilons who both get a initiative reroll, they're already kind of in a good place. They're at least going to probably win that once in last year's initiative. But then there's a lot of teams where, I played games when I was playing Scouts or when I started playing Hand of the Archon, where I would lose initiative all 4 times and I'd just be like, well, I just got bodied. So I think that extra sauce there, as convoluted as it can be, is kind of nice when it works in your favor. A testament back to your story there, Rhys, about where you rolled that 6. You're not getting that 6 without that new initiative system. So that double kill did come for you. But it's a tough one.
I really
It's a
set
tough
myself
one.
up for failure in my own argument there, didn't I?
No,
I
because I
still
think we
stand by
all...
it.
Yeah. No, I think let's catch. I want to catch. We don't always do this. Let's catch Eric and George's takes on the new initiative system here as well, just to kind of see, because I think it is kind of a big deal.
It's a big one for this. I want to hear more opinions. I need it.
Yeah.
Well, so you want George and I to just give you
Give your
take?
natural opinion, like what you
Okay.
actually think.
So
outside
here's
of,
what I
outside of
think.
Harry.
I think that seriously, I mean, I 100% agree with Rhys actually, where it's like, why do we need to take the dice out of the equation here?
That's
And
Harris.
that's heresy. And I think like I've talked about it before,
It's 2v2.
but I've actually won games that, and this sounds really weird, but it in both situations where I've lost all three initiatives, 1, 2, and 3, so I have a +6 card in my pocket. That means I win turn 4. You can't. I have a 7. You don't have a 7. I have a 7. Nice reroll card, nerd. I have a 7. I've also won games where my opponent has all 3 +6 as well. And the reason why I won those games is because I know in my mind during turning point 3 who is going to activate first turning point 4. There's no chance in it. There's no possibility. I don't have to, if I know that I'm going to win it, I don't have to respect the dice. If I know that I'm going to lose, well then I just respect the dice. Because so it changes the way that I play the game completely in those situations. And then and I'm just not a huge fan of that. And I've been a big kind of proponent of play like you're going to lose initiative because you're going to lose initiative, you know? And if you always play to win initiative and you keep losing initiative and losing games, like, I don't know, maybe think about think about why
Maybe
things are
it's a you
happening.
issue.
Maybe it's a you problem. But then there's also times like you kind of need to know when to be aggressive, and like if you're on your back foot, well, I got to ball out, you know, we got to go for big money plays, and I better win this initiative. And if I lose this initiative, I'm probably going to lose anyways. So I need to set up something crazy and try and win. But there's just a little bit less of that going on. I feel like I play really conservative through the entire game, and then turn 3 happens, and so many things score turn 4. That's the other reason why, if you know who's going to go first turn 4, it just lowers like your cognitive load on how you're going to score all these things that happen at the end of the game. And so I think if I've lost initiative all 4 rounds, that's kill team, baby. That's kill team, baby. I've won initiative all 4 rounds. That's kill team, baby. That's it. But when you have these cards that are, basically overcomplicating things for new players. Oh, well, in this role this happens, but then in the other roles, the other person gets it, and then but wait, which one is it again? You gave me initiative, so I get 2 CP, but then no, I get 1 CP, but you get the card. No, actually, you won the role, so I get the card, but I get the CP. Yeah. Oh, no, you get right, and then it's just like this thing. Not a fan. Heresy. Absolutely
Well,
not a fan.
Careful, George.
I'm gonna tell you, you're dead wrong. You're dead wrong. 'Cause
Get him.
the new game, you get more cards. Cards are great. They're like, hey, we're gonna give you more plastic paper for your dice game. Who doesn't want that?
The
That's
approved
one.
ops value has gone up. I didn't consider
know,
that.
Is thicker.
I
These
do-
new cards, you know what they give me? They remind me a lot of Superman. They give me hope because I know that I will eventually get that initiative. Like you said, if I lose initiative turn 1, 2, and 3, I got a +6. I'm in it to win it that turn 4, and a lot of missions now turn 4 is when it gets crazy, especially with the new approved ops. So I think the new cards are freaking phenomenal, and I can't even go back to playing Kill Team with. I can't even. What was that mini game we played before? It was like paper
I
rock.
missed that mini game.
You're on my side. You're on my side.
Yeah.
No, I think at
The
this
team's
point now,
falling
are we giving
apart.
our real takes? I'm
Yeah,
giving
we've
my
got
real
different
take now.
camps now.
Yeah,
We've
the
got different
cards
camps
are-
now.
The cards are a lot. Like
Sorry,
I kinda
that's
thought-
heresy bit's over. So I'm just giving my real take. I missed the old scouting. I like my reposition.
I
Yeah.
think the solution for it, it's there's a middle ground, and I think it's that classic one of, because they did the CP realignment, which was kind of meant to be a bit of a stopgap fix, then putting this on top of that. I think there's something to be. It's like my in my perfect world for it, turning point one, like the first roll, whoever loses gets one re-roll for the game. And they can use it at any point. They get the one card. No one else, though, no team, every team that has a CP reroll loses it. So that is the only one in the game. And then it means something. It's still a chance. I said, George will still give you hope that at least they'll get a second crack at a clutch initiative. But I can't plan around it. It still lets the chance and the dice gods be the dice gods in the game. That's my patch.
I like
CP
that, actually.
Could probably keep it as well. I don't mind you lose it, you get the benefit of CP. I'd keep that.
What I like, my change, I've been saying this for a while. I'm sure a lot of the Florida guys have heard me say this a billion times already. I think that we could have whatever system they wanted to put in place. These cards weren't it. The plus 1, 2, 3, it ain't it. If I think that you should not be rewarded for giving away initiative. I think that if I give you initiative, then we both get 1 CP. You don't get there's no plus whatever card.
Yeah.
So if I set up something aggressive, right? Then you're like, well, I won the roll. I have to go first. Okay. I lose my aggressive piece, I get a CP. But if I set up nothing, right? Zach was waiting on Six-Sided Paradise for our stream this whole time. Sorry, Zach, dude. Shout out Dr. Zero Hour. Dr. Zero Hour is yeah, I'm sure you guys know him from over at KillTeam Casuals. Sorry, bro. Sorry, dude.
I'm waiting for the casual war gamers over
Yeah,
there as
yeah.
well, on the KillTeam Casuals. Tomorrow, mate.
But is that the 3's to wound? Yes, it is, sir. This is the man. But yeah, so I think that would solve a lot of things because there would be an opportunity cost for me to play KG. I don't get to have the last activation, right? And the CP. I'm going to essentially pay the CP, right? To get to go last or out activate you more or be out activated less, however the situation is. I think that would solve a lot and it would really make you consider how you were setting things up. But if you had that and you had the plus 1, 2, 3 and the reroll and Mercury's and Gatorade and all this stuff, dude, then it's just like it starts getting like way too convoluted for me. So I think there was a solution. I don't think the initiative cards are a solution. The initiative cards, that's heresy, brother. 100%.
Damn right.
Yeah, I
Damn
think we'll
right.
see them gone next year, though. I think
Yeah.
I think the beautiful thing
possible.
about this game is the lack of insurance is what I like. So I don't like having a lot of extra insurance in the game that can tip things too heavily in the favor outside of the dice roll. I think it's got to be dice roll and it's got to be positioning. I think those are your two key factors in the game. I think having the insurance, which also kind of plays into some teams having way too many rerolls on their stuff. I think that I've heard you guys talk about that on KillTeam Casuals.
Yeah.
I think
still a
that
big one. They got rid of Relentless, but now everyone gets balanced and ceaseless, so it basically cancels.
yeah. So it's like it's a lot of insurance, and I think it can also just like throw games. A game that you could have won, you lost because someone had all dice rerolls or they had +6 whatever to their cards.
Yep,
Yeah.
that is true. And there's definitely been a lot of rerolls this edition that we've seen. Ceaseless. They eliminated a lot of Relentless, but there's a lot of Ceaseless, dude. There's a
for
lot of
Deathwatch.
Ceaseless going on.
Deathwatch
Deathwatch,
and their rerolls.
and they don't have Purity
That's
Seals.
it. And then And then you
Which,
run into Nemclaw, who then go, also, you can't re-roll your ones. And you're just like, well, I
Yeah.
hit on 3s. The one thing I has gives me
Yeah.
one. Like,
Hunter Clade has like a 20-inch bubble of no rerolls
Yeah.
across the entire board for a CP. You're like, oh, I guess I'll just go fuck myself then. I guess
Yeah.
I'll, like, that's it. All right, I'll just pray every time in the dice tray, like, come on, come on. Uh, well, that was a lot of fun, guys. We're just hitting about an hour, which is a good time to wrap it up. It's Sunday night here. It's Monday afternoon. Rhys has to get back to work. This man took time out of his day. So thanks a lot for coming through, Rhys. And tell the
thank you,
people,
thank you.
a lot of people are probably familiar with you and your content and your channels, but tell people where they can find you and what kind of stuff you do.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, obviously 3's to wound, but probably known to most through the KillTeam Casuals, which is a podcast. I say weekly, but I say that with a wink because it's really when we can get our act together. There's 3 of us. A lot of the time there's 2 of us, but we always rotate through. Like you guys, we just love KillTeam and we love talking about it. And I was hugely chuffed to be a part of this because I love seeing there being more and more KillTeam content. And also do a lot of silly stuff on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok as 3's to wound, just skits about Warhammer and wargaming in general. And I've got a YouTube channel again when I get my stuff together. Sometimes I try to do informative videos too. Sometimes.
Yeah, and his Instagram is hilarious. If you guys haven't seen
Yeah,
it, there's a lot of funny
his
shit on there. He has like, 100,000
his skits are great.
followers. Super
His
big
skits are
deal.
great.
You
Yeah.
know. Yeah, yeah.
I was seeing his stuff from my algorithm like a year ago on my personal account. And then it was last week, I told him this before we started. It was last week that I connected his face to the KillTeam Casuals podcast. And I was like, oh, this guy hangs out with Ben all the time. I've been following his page forever.
Yes.
Which was just a really funny little like thing to like cross my waves with.
Yeah, so go support 3's to Wound and Rhys, and we're gonna keep trying to get more people on, not just content creators, but we want to get, people in our local meta and non-local meta and just chat about Kill Team and, fuck around and bullshit about whatever's going on. We always got something. We got some nerd shit, right? So, thanks,
We need a
guys.
quarterly magazine about the nerd shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The PhoBros magazine. But thanks, everybody. Y'all have a good night. Peace. Okay. Perfect. Let me wrap up this stream. Don't know.